Hi FPL managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. We're talking all about goalkeepers today. They take up 2 slots out of a 15 slot team, 1 in the first 11 every single week. We have to put them in. They make up a large proportion of our points over a season. So is it worth spending a couple of minutes just to find out, is it better to have a set and forget goalkeeper? Is it worth paying extra for a goalkeeper? Do we have 2 and rotate? We're going to look at all these questions and answers to them by taking a statistical analysis of them over the last couple of years and how we've got on this season. I think it's a conversation worth spending a few minutes having a talk about. If you're new to this channel, please click on that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get the latest content, watch lists, team selection coming out. We've done the wildcard video already, so check that out. In the meantime, let's have a look at goalkeepers. Let's have a look at last year's statistics. Goalkeepers last year, highest scoring goalkeeper, Emilio Martinez, Aston Villa. He was a bit of a legend last year. He went up in price quite considerably over the course of it. He got a lot of save points. Villa's defence, wouldn't say they were the tightest, but they went through a period where they kept clean sheets. Martinez was scoring bonus points left, right and centre. He ended up as being the highest scoring goalkeeper, beating Ederson, beating Alisson. He got 182 points. So, that's decent. The weakest one they're still playing this season, so I've taken the analysis for the relegated keepers, very hard to get hold of. So this year I've done it just based on last year. Palace had the worst goal difference. Greater than, he was cheaper at 124 points. So the difference between those two players, as you can see guys, if you can do the maths, 58 points. 58 points over a season. We're talking less than 2 points a game when Martinez was scoring more than Guaita. Doesn't feel like a lot if I'm honest. So we've looked at the highest scoring goalkeeper last year and the lowest scoring goalkeeper last year that played and the difference between the two. Let's have a look at this year. So far the highest scoring goalkeeper, with his Edmond Mendy. He is the most expensive on the game as well. Over 6 million you're paying for him. He has played 9 games so far, so he hasn't played every game. Kepa played 1 for Chelsea. We know how good defensively they are. They've only conceded 3 goals all season. He's played 9 games and he's got 51 points, so he's averaging 5.67 per game that he is playing in. So let's compare him to the lowest scoring goalkeeper. I have to be careful to say the worst because he's not the worst, just the lowest scoring goalkeeper. 9 games, average 5.67 for Mendy. Ben Foster then, he has only played 6 games because Backham and played the others. He's only got 12 points so far. They've got no clean sheets. He's only averaging 2 points so far. So quite a big difference there between 5.67 and an average of 2. Now that big difference in average, which is a big difference, if an outfield player, that would be a contribution per game. 6.2 he's costing Mendy. He's kept 7 out of 9 clean sheets. That is phenomenal. I just don't think that's possible to keep that up. And we've got Foster, who has got no clean sheets. I mean, on the other side of the coin, you just can't see, despite how bad Watford are, can they go a whole season without a clean sheet? I don't think that would have ever been done before, so that seems unlikely as well. 6.2 to 4.1, so there's £2.1 million difference. That's quite a lot for a goalkeeper. I wanted to get a bit of an understanding as to how fewer points keepers could really get me. I can see Edward Mendy's kept 7 out of 9 clean sheets. He's got 51 points. That's amazing. He has the odd game where he's obviously got that 10 points against Brentford. But I wanted to look at Watford and Norwich as being perhaps the 2 leakest defences in the league so far. What were they actually getting each game? So breaking it down, we looked at Foster. Combining him with the first few games he missed and Backham was in goal, between them then, they got 10 games played, 20 points between them, they get an average of 2 points a game. So just by turning up, just by having the lowest paid, lowest valued goalkeeper, he's still getting me 2 points a game. Tim Krul surprised me a little bit. Norwich have kept a clean sheet. 10 games he's got 26 points, so he's averaging 2.6, so he's getting a little bit more. So compared to Mendy again, going against the best against the worst, I guess, in terms of point scoring, Mendy's averaging over 3 points a game more. However, even when a goalkeeper is conceding goals, as we have seen in the odd fixture, they can still get a lot of points. I didn't pick up on it a couple of weeks ago. A friend told me and said, oh, I had Martinez. He got me 10 points. I thought, well, where Arsenal? He conceded 3. He said, yeah. Wow, I had to go and check it. And I was like, really? Wow, conceded 3. He got 6 save bonuses, which means he must have made at least 18 saves in that game. With even with 3 conceded, he gets his normal points. 10 points he picked up, and that was for conceding 3. So even with the goalkeeper, who is conceding quite a few goals, there is still potential to get 10 points, which would have outscored any other keeper, even keeping a clean sheet. So what has been the extremes this season? Tim Krul got -2. They lost to Man City 5-0, and because he got that own goal, that really hurt him. So he did get a -2. Obviously, the game against Chelsea, he conceded 7. But he got 2 save points, he got his 2 points for just turning up, so he ended up with still 1 point versus Chelsea. So even conceding 7 goals, he still managed to get himself a point. On the other extreme, the highest rated one that I could find was Hugo Lloris on the opening day of the season, where they played Wolves. He was just a wall in that goal, keeping shots out left, right, centre. He got the clean sheet, he got 2 save points, which means he made at least 6 saves, and he got the 3 bonus points as well. So he picked up 11. I didn't scroll through all the details. There may be a goalkeeper that's got more than that, but I can't imagine it's going to be any more than 1 or 2 points. But 11 points is the most you can really. So if that's our ceiling for our goalkeeper, 11 points doesn't feel that high. And if an absolute extreme, again at the moment, we've got -2 for Tim Krul, so we've got a 13-point swing. But that's just one example in 10 game weeks, so it doesn't seem very likely that's going to happen every week. Before we draw any conclusions, I want to make the point which I think is really important. Looking at this slide again, Mendy has 51 points at the moment. He has played 9 games. He has got 7 clean sheets. So he's got an average of 5.67. If we were to extrapolate that times 4 for the rest of the season, if he managed to do that, he'd end up with the season with 204 points, massively above anyone last year. He would have 28 clean sheets. Now, to put that in perspective, last year Ederson got the Golden Glove with 19. The year before that, De Gea only had 16. So he would smash the Premier League record considerably out of the park for clean sheets gained. He may well do that. Would I back him to do it? I don't think I would. It just seems ridiculous that he could keep 28 clean sheets in a Premier League season. So the point I'm going to make at this juncture is that at the moment, he's got a great average. I just don't think, despite how good Chelsea are, they can possibly keep up the level, the percentage of clean sheets they're doing. So that average has got to only come down. So the difference at the moment between him and the likes of Foster, even the likes of Krul, is 3 points. But that just cannot continue to be that high. Foster, you wouldn't have thought, would go through an entire season without a clean sheet, which is what he's faced with right now. So his average could only possibly go up. Mendy's would only possibly come down. So that gap between them will only get shorter. And I think that's a really important thing to consider. As a conclusion then, we're looking at goalkeepers. Is it worth spending the extra 2.1 million for extra 3 points a game? And just the point I've made is 3 points a game is what it is at the moment. I don't think that can possibly last. If we look at last year, it's possibly an extra point, nearly 2 points a game is what the difference you'd make. And you are spending that extra money on Mendy. I'm not sure. If I knew it was 3 points a game, 2 million for an outfield player above someone else, I think, yeah, that would be worth it, but I'm just not convinced it's going to stay at 3 points. Most expensive keeper in a game, interesting, not always the highest scoring, so you could pay for an Ederson and Alisson. Last year, you would not have had the highest goal scoring keeper, so it doesn't always pan out that the more money you pay on your keeper, the more points and the guarantee of points you're going to get. It seems there's minimal benefit in spending extra money on goalkeepers. That money is better spent on outfield players. You could buy the most expensive keeper and it still will not guarantee you to get enough extra points to warrant spending that extra money. Also, what you have to say is that the ceiling for points scored this season has been 11 points with Lloris. The absolute ground level was an own goal, which is -2. And again, I just don't think that's an extreme example. That's not going to happen every week. But just shows that actually spending that extra money even on 2 goalkeepers, if Reece James gets you 20 odd points, a Salah gets you more points, you're not going to captain a goalkeeper. So that extra money needs to be spent in other areas of your team. It's even more expensive if you've got 2 keepers that are worth, let's say, £5 million. Again, you're taking out money from one position in your team, which is going to be on the bench a lot of the time, and not in the rest of your side. This is based on last season, but I just don't think it's worth paying that extra money, if I'm honest, in goal. And the other question that was asked right at the start was, which keeper do I have if I have 2 playing goalkeepers? I think this tells us, even with a Martinez conceding 3 goals at Arsenal, he doesn't even need a clean sheet to get 10 points. He can outscore a Mendy in that week and Ederson if they've kept a clean sheet even. So it's just hit and miss. I wish I could sit here and say, yeah, it's obvious you do this, but I just don't think it is. I had Foster, Ramsdale, Could absolutely have gone either way. Ramsdale's a blinder, keeps a clean sheet. He gets massive amount of points for me. It was Foster only ends up with 2. But looking back at it, who was more likely clean sheet? I think probably Foster was. But it just doesn't seem worth paying the extra money in my opinion, guys. Especially when you've got a great, good, solid guaranteed starting keeper at 4.1 million, which you have in Foster. I think there's enough options around a 4.5, maximum 5 million mark to give you a good return. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. What goalkeeping decisions have you made? Has it paid off? If you like watching FPL content, please click on that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get the latest news. We'll look at team selections, we've got watch lists coming up, so stay tuned. In the meantime, speak to you soon.